Hello students. I just want to go over some of the things that we've been learning over the past couple of weeks now that we're doing remote learning. So we're in the section where we're reviewing exponential functions, right? We started doing that during class, and then I've been kind of going off to the side and doing some percents, but we're actually going to tie all of this back to exponential functions. So just to review, and I did some of this with people who came into office hours today, the 4 levels of where we're building up to. So level 1 was just taking a percent of a number, right? So if I had 20% of 50, it's 50 times 0.20, which is 20% turned into a decimal, and that equals 10. That was the first thing we learned when we started remote learning. The next level, level 2, is when I talked about increasing or decreasing by an amount, by a percentage. So for the first example, if I have 50 increased by 20%, we learned that I take 50 and then multiply that by 1, which represents 100% of the amount, which is 50, right? So 100% plus 0.20, which represents 20%, is going to be 50 times 1.20, 100% plus the 0.20%. So when you put that in your calculator, you get 60. And you notice that 60 is definitely greater than 50. So if it's increasing, your end result should be higher than what you started. Decreasing, meaning we're going to go down by a certain percentage. So 50 decreased by 20% is 50 times 100% of what I have minus 20% of that. So it'd be 1 minus 0.20, and if you put that in your calculator, that becomes 0.80. You can think of this as 100 minus 20 also. So 50 times 80%, 0.80 is going to give me 40. And notice that 40 is of course less than 50. So the answer makes sense because we decreased by a certain amount. So just pay attention to whether your answer makes sense based on what the story or the instructions tell you. For decreasing, your number should be going down. If you see that it's going up, something went wrong, right? And you're going to go back and double check. So that's level 2. Level 3 is going to be when we increase by a percentage over the course of some time. Usually it'll be years. Sometimes it's weeks, months, minutes. It depends on the problem. So for example, I have 60 increased by 40 over 3 years. So I'm going to take the same base, which is the amount, times 1 plus, because I'm increasing, 40%, 0.40. And this time, the 3 years, the time that we're doing this over is 3 years, and we're going to put that in our exponential value section, right? So that becomes our power, our exponent. So of course, this becomes 60 times 1.40 when I add this together. It's a growth, so it should be over 1. And then this, put in your calculator, is going to be 164. Let's look at another problem. Similar increase. So 400 increased by 15% over 4 years. So this is going to be my equation. 400 times 1, always 1, plus, because of the increase, and 0.15 from the 15%, and then that to the 4th power, because it's over the course of 4 years. Now, I'm going to add inside my parentheses first. PEMDAS says that we must do that. Then I'm going to worry about the exponent part first, okay? Do not multiply the 400 and the 1.15 and then take it to the 4th. So if you put it directly in your calculator like this, the calculator will know to do this part first. If you're going to do it on your own, meaning separately, then do 1.15 to the 4th power first, then multiply that answer by 400. Finally, we have a decreasing amount by a percentage. 80 decreased by 6% over 5 years is going to be 80 times 1, this time minus from the decreased, 0.06 times, to the 5th power, which is the number of years. And you might want to do this little part in your calculator. 1 minus 0.06 should give you 0.94, like saying 100 minus 6, right? And then 80 times the 0.94 to the 5th, that should get you 58.71. So please make sure that when you're putting this in your calculator, you can try it with this one, that you are actually getting this answer, all right? Remember, 58 is definitely less than 80, which makes sense because I am decreasing. Okay, that's level 3, adding time. Final level, and it looks confusing on this page, but actually this top part, we're going to cover that up. Ooh, what's that? All right, so level 4 is going to be just taking a word problem, a story problem, and then from the information they give you, put together an equation. So I have here, Joshua buys a Jeep for $45,000. Its value goes down by 8% a year. How much is it worth after 4 years? Everything you need is in there, okay? You have the initial amount, $45,000, times 100% of that value, minus 8% for every year, right? So we're talking about 4 years, and it's going down by that percentage. So 1 minus 0.08 is going to be 0.92. So if you put this equation in your calculator, you should end up with 32,237.68. Definitely less than 45,000. And that's right, because it goes down, right? The value goes down, therefore we're using a subtraction sign. Okay, you have to read into the story to know that this signifies that we're going to be decaying. We're using a decaying function, so we have to subtract. So those are the 4 levels that we've been building up to this whole time. So here are 3 problems that I put in for task 2 that I said you have to watch the video for. So please pause the video and take a look at these. This is part of level 3. No, I'm sorry, this is level 4. I'm sorry, no, level 3. Level 4 is the story. Level 3 is just the basic information. So please put this in equation form and then answer it. So these are the 3 problems for task 2. Thank you.
Good.